Hi, Sungwoo. Can you hear us?
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Awesome. Yes, we can. We had some technical difficulties, but you're live now. So, guys, give a round of applause to Sungwoo, please.
Thank you, thank you. So let's get started. Hello, builders. My name is Sungwoo Park from Polygon Labs, and I am from APAC business team. And although this is through a video call, I am very honored to be presenting Polygon's most recent business strategy with you all. And I'm sorry that we could not be there, but we will definitely be there in person for the next event. So today's topic is scaling Ethereum with Polygon. So, of course, we know that Ethereum brought revolution to the industry and allowed people to create many different businesses based on the smart contracts. But the problem was that the technology was too slow and expensive for the mass adoption to happen. And this is where Polygon started to take step in. Let me, yeah. So with much cheaper gas fee and faster transaction speed and all the other great benefits, Polygon has been successfully supporting Ethereum ecosystem. And with the numbers, this is very incredible. Since January 2022, the number of DApps supported by Polygon has multiplied by 8 times. And we can practically say that Polygon was there to support most of the DApps trying to revolutionize the world on Ethereum ecosystem. And I would like to give you some actual use cases of our Polygon technology. So first will be on payments vertical. I believe this is one of the most intuitive sector where blockchain can be and should be implemented. The blockchain technology enables faster and secure and even lower cost for the international payments. And the reason because the payment was so expensive was there were so many middlemen. And the blockchain technology lets us exclude the middleman, which makes it faster and cheaper. And there are many traditional players jumping into blockchain industry for these reasons. And Stripe is using USDC to expand their global payouts in crypto, and they chose Polygon for lower fees and speed and access to the Ethereum ecosystem and all the other infrastructure. And city of Lugano, a Swiss city, chose Polygon as their official blockchain partner. And they are building infrastructure which will allow companies and citizens to pay taxes in crypto. And our crypto people have been always streaming this kind of stuff. And it's actually happening right now based on Polygon ecosystem. And next one up is a service, which is very famous in Southeast Asian region, and it is Grab. They are running in 330, 339 cities in 8 different countries, and you all know very well, I guess. But it has more than 170 million app downloads, and it is #1 platform for transportation and fintech in Southeast Asia. And Grab also has integrated Polygon in their wallet. So if you guys have Grab wallet, then you can just go into your Grab application and check Polygon wallet in there. And they're just getting integrated, and they are preparing many interesting projects based on Polygon in their platform. So you will keep your eye on Grab, and you will see many interesting things happening from there. And another sector is asset tokenization, which is extremely hot topic across the world. So basically what asset tokenization allows is to make illiquid assets to be liquid. So to say it more simply, you can easily buy or sell the things that you could not usually trade easily before. So let's think about all the buildings or apartments and even huge funds. You as an individual cannot easily trade them easily, just like you trade stock. But asset tokenization allows that to happen. So when you take a look at right side and the bottom part, there is Hamilton Lane, and it is a huge private equity fund. And their flagship fund is being available on Polygon PLS chain at the moment. And if you want to if you wanted to participate in that fund, you had to pay at least $5 million. But now you can start from 20K so that you can participate in that huge and profitable fund. Some fun use case also could be this Pokemon card being tradable as a token on chain. So you can trade your Pokemon card, and you can check all the traits of the cards here. And if you want to buy or sell this kind of asset, which is illiquid, you can do that very simply on chain. So these are simple steps. So you basically submit your card with your specific traits and ship it, and they tokenize the card for you, and then you're good to go with trading. So it's very easily made, and companies, this is done by Courtyard.io, and this company has done a really great job, which lowered a lot of boundaries and walls to trade these kind of like tokenized Web3 assets. And many other companies are doing that. So I believe our future is bright because of these kind of new startups. And another sector will be loyalty and rewards program. And it is very important for the businesses to keep and retain loyal customers. And we believe with blockchain, we can add more color into it. So for example, like Starbucks US launched its own membership program based on blockchain technology, powered by Polygon. And the program is called Starbucks Odyssey, and it will allow members to purchase digital stamps, which is an NFT. And if you gather many stamps and finish one specific collection, then you will get new experiences like being able to visit Seattle Starbucks HQ or brewing special coffee with specific brewing people, and you will be able to go to a special coffee farm, something like that. So if you are a very loyal member of Starbucks, Starbucks knows that you want to do and experience these kind of special experiences. So they have resolved these kind of perks to NFT membership program, and they are keep retaining and giving the users and the customers new experiences so that they can keep using Starbucks. And there's another very interesting project from Korea as well. And the project is called Cosmos. And it is basically running a girl group, K-pop girl group based on blockchain system. So fans can actually purchase Cosmos NFT, and that each NFT can become a voting right. Then they can choose which member can join which kind of unit group. So let's say there is new unit which consists of 3 out of 20 people. Then you can vote your favorite member to be in that specific unit group. And also, if there is a specific song that you want to make it as a next title song for the album, you can also use your NFT to vote that specific song to be the next title for the album. They have more than 2.2 million followers in the YouTube, and they are also very hot in the Southeast Asia. So probably if you have some time, you can just look it up and see how it goes. And for airline memberships, we have Lufthansa available for their membership program. You can see the simple steps for the blockchain experiences. You can scan the barcode, and then you'll get the cards accordingly. And with those cards, you will be able to fill up the collection album, and the perks follows after that. So there are many other airlines who are trying to do this. So it's quite intuitive, and it's actually fun. So this kind of makes people to stick to specific airline because they want to collect specific collections so that they can get VIP access to air lounge or any other perks that they would like. So this is a good way of utilizing blockchain technology to their marketing and user acquisition play. And another sector is a government. So actually, many would actually think that governments will not be proactively looking into blockchain technology due to its innate nature and ethos. But there are some aspects which actually serves greatly for the purpose of the government. So Some governments apply blockchain for the reason of transparency from corruption, and some use for the securities for their public data. So, for example, Indian district government is publicly writing public complaints on chain to prevent police corruption. And also, another Indian state government is using blockchain to identify rightful beneficiary for subsidiaries. So all of these are powered by Polygon technology. And now let's look at more into how Ethereum and Polygon compares to the other blockchain technologies. And first, let's look at Ethereum first. So we have 5 different pillars where we can compare to the other layer ones. And they are security, decentralization, community, regulatory trust, and Web3 developers. And all of these, Ethereum ecosystem is superior to the alt layer ones. So let's take a look at security. And when we talk about security, it basically means the safety of your fund. But as you can see, Ethereum ecosystem has a lot of TVL, and it's time tested against hacking. So it is very, very, very safe compared to the other layer ones. And also, in terms of decentralization, other layer ones tend to have less decentralization, or they have very high decentralization but has very low scalability. So in Ethereum ecosystem, we have more than 6,000 nodes and 800K plus validators. So this means a huge, huge and highly decentralized ecosystem. And also, when we look at the community and network effects, Ethereum ecosystem has the most high diversity and community for the developer ecosystem. So most of the DApps, especially for the infrastructure, they tend to first support Ethereum ecosystem because it has the broader and largest ecosystem in the first place. And for the regulatory trust, it's similar to the security parts. And for the Web3 devs, we are quite similar with the community part. So I will not mention more, but given that Ethereum is based on Solidity and EVM, many developers are easier to develop their DApps more easily compared to the other languages such as Rust or Move. But we all know that Ethereum is not always the best option. It is true that they brought a revolution, but there have been few limitations from there. So first, scalability problem. Now that blockchain is gaining more and more attention and many use cases are popping up, Ethereum's network space is quite small for that. And this causes slowness and costliness. So also, in terms of configurability, you cannot have Ethereum change to whatever you want them to be structured. So, for example, like gas parameters, block sizes, sometimes you need those to be configured, but Ethereum, it's already there, so you cannot do anything with them. And lastly, if you are building a private chain for your business, you need compliance. But for Ethereum, you cannot control all the validators or users, even the deployers who can use your chain however they want to. So there can be some compliance issue for that. And this is exactly the reason why all the other layer 2 chains are popping up and they are on a rage. So everyone wants to build layer 2 and want to scale Ethereum. And in order to run L2, you need rollup. So simply speaking, a rollup is where you gather all the transactions needed to be written on Ethereum and validating that those transactions are valid. And first, there is optimistic rollup. So in this rollup, we assume that all the transactions are valid and has no fraud and is perfect, but we give 7 days to the fraud provers, a challenging period for 7 days to check if they are fraud or not. And we also have zero knowledge rollup. So ZK is much more advanced cryptographic technology compared to optimistic rollup for every single aspect. but they're much harder to work, and it takes a lot of time to research and make it into a reality. So zk has much secure and it allows faster transaction, but there needs to be another whole hour for how exactly the zk tech works. So I'll table that and leave some links for your research. But for now, let's say zk is much more superior technology compared to the optimistic rollup. And also, it does not have 7 days of challenging period because the zk machine itself verifies the transactions are valid. So you can withdraw your asset in 30 minutes. So now, although L2 chains are all the rage, but there are problems, of course. So the liquidities are fragmented. That means there is no direct linkage to the Ethereum ecosystem. You need to bridge them over to Ethereum. So this leads to the fragmentation of the ecosystem, and this makes it harder for the builders to build on L2s. So here is where Polygon comes in to solve this problem. We have all zk-based L2 chain kit, something like SDK, but we call this CDK because it's Chain Developers Kit. So you can deploy your own L2 with 6 clicks, and it takes about 10 minutes to do it. And all the CDK chains, including Polygon zkEVM, Polygon POS, will be on the same level, and the liquidity will be shared on interop layer. And with zk proofs, we are recording then the transaction on the Ethereum. This is basically what Polygon CDK architecture is. So we are trying to promote the CDK, and we are onboarding as many CDK partners as possible. And currently, what we have announced is we have Immutable X from the gaming sector, and we have Menta Network, who recently got onboarded, and we also have A-Star, who used to be the Japan's go-to on blockchain, but they are now using Polygon CDK to develop their own L2, and we are connecting all of them into a single interop layer. So what this means is you can purchase Immutable X NFT with your Matic or Ethereum on Polygon POS. You do not need to bridge them. So it leads to a very smooth user experience. And that also means that your business will be much more smooth because you do not really have to lock in all the liquidity to your own chain, but we have all the liquidities connected via interop layer. So this is a brief overview for the CDK. So I'm not going to go over every single part, but these are basically the process which we can provide via chain development kit here, and then we are recording all the transaction on Ethereum. So one thing you might want to note is there are 2 different CDK. One is rollup and another is Validium. So rollup is it applies when you are making data available on public chain, which is Ethereum. And if you want to do the Validium, you are storing your own data on another data availability layer like Celestia or Eigen layer, because you want your data to be private, and you don't want other people to just go in and check whatever information is stored there. So if you want more secure data storing, you can go for Validium, which is default. But if you want your data to be more transparent and public, you can go with rollup, which is the example could be zkEVM. Yeah, so we are expanding our ecosystem and all the infrastructure based on our CDK. So I hope our family here will get more used to the CDK and have more chances to develop their business based on CDK. Thank you.
Hello, Sungmo? Can you hear us?
Hello. Hi. Yes, I can.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much for the presentation, Somo. I want to open up the floor for a Q&A. Anybody have any questions for Somo? Anybody? Okay. If you guys don't have any questions, I'll ask questions. I think first question is for Sungmo. I think that interop layer is super, super interesting. Breaking that fragmented liquidity problem. First question is that live currently? Because I've never experienced that before. Buying stuff in zkEVM with POS. So that's the first question. And then second question is, with all the craze with all the new L2s and modular blockchain stuff, do you have any stance particularly in or just predictions or where the trend is going in terms of building purely on zkEVM or CDK versus building modular blockchain? What's the pros and cons with that? So two questions.
Okay, so first of all, the interop layer, we are working on it, and it's going to be shipped within late Q1 or early Q2. And the reason for this is we are just announcing the launching of the actual CDK partners. And we have been actually working on this for the last 6 or 8 months to be announced. And the only ones that are announced at the moment is Immutable and a few other. But as we are announcing more and more partners, we are going to ship our product as the timeline has been decided. So the answer to the question will be late Q1 or early Q2. And to answer your second question is, there are a lot of pros and cons in terms of like a layer 2, because there are so many layer 2, and it is quite it's like a war out there, and there are so many L2s who are trying to lock in all the TVLs. And for example, like Blast, they have been very successful in terms of like gathering all the Ethereum ecosystem players, and now they have like more than billion TVL, and all the other DApp developers are trying to build something on them. And also our old competitors, there are Arbitrum, which are focusing more on the L3, and Optimism, who are you also using L2 narrative. But Arbitrum and Optimism, they are all using optimistic rollup. So we believe we are more ahead in terms of the technical issues. But apart from all that, I think this kind of competition is actually a good thing for all of us, because I think this is actually growing the ecosystem and the industry as a whole. Because the more competition means there are more rooms and opportunities for each competing players to grow in terms of the technology side and also for the business side. And if we can grow this pie altogether, we can actually bring more Web2 people onboarded to the Web3 scene. And that's what we are all here trying to do. So to answer your question, modular is good, and like any other, like there are so many good things about this, but like we are all trying to compete against each other. But I do not want to make this all about competition, but we all have something we're good at. I believe Polygon is good at bringing all the enterprises and bringing ZK solutions into Web3. And I also believe Arbitrum and Optimism has their own very good things that they are good at. So for example, like bringing all the DApp players and DeFi native DApps to be on their chain. So I think we have a lot more to grow. So I think everybody there has their own advantage this time.
Awesome. Any questions? Anybody else? You do have a question?
All right. So how do we exactly develop on Polygon Layer 2 zkEVM? like Starknet Layer 2, they come up with their own language, Cairo. I don't think that was explained. How do we exactly develop on it? Like Cairo is its own native smart contract language, right? Does Polygon zkEVM have that too, or how?
So think of it as a almost EVM compatible development ecosystem and environment. So if you can visit Polygon.technology homepage, you will be able to see how you can develop your own L2 with CDK. So basically, they are all Solidity, and you will be able to easily develop anything that you want to. So it's very closely EVM compatible.
Any other questions?
Hello, Sungmo. I'm Nigel from Mindblown Universe. Nice to meet you. So I heard about this new thesis by Polygon about the unified bridge contract. So what does it do and how it's going to impact all of us? Like, why is it important? So there's the thesis is talking about the aggregation of blockchain. So can you tell us a bit about the new thesis? Thank you.
So probably I believe your question was about interrupt layer and all the LXLY bridge. And all I can tell you about at this moment that is we are trying to unify all the liquidity so that the business on top of our CDK ecosystem is ready to be deployed at the same time as they launch their product. And we have more roadmap that we can share as time goes by. So please stand by in terms of the new update and thesis and narratives. We will be able to communicate that through our developer relations specialist who will be able to give you more detailed explanation in terms of technology.
Anybody else? Okay, final question from me. I think what I admire the most about Polygon is actually their BD team. I think nobody else has actually acquired such huge brands and onboarded them into blockchains. Can you share us what's your secret weapon? What's your strategy in terms of building these relationships and onboarding them into blockchains? What do you actually sell? And I guess here there's a couple builders, there's project founders. I think we can all learn from Polygon in this sense. Maybe give a business masterclass to us.
I'm far from the master, but like every BD person has a different approach. But the common trait that we have is we are very, very sensitive to what's going on in the world, and especially what the narratives are. So I believe Polygon Labs used to be Polygon Studios, and we were very successful starting from 2022, early 2022. And that's when most of the bear market started and people started to stop running their DApps. But we just started new Polygon Labs initiative, and we had to do something. And we focused on the Web2 enterprise onboarding. And we made the narrative that the enterprises who wants to build a blockchain projects did not want to experience something that happened to the Luna or FTX. So risk hedging was really important. And enterprises knew that if Ethereum ecosystem died, then their blockchain business would not work. So Polygon was almost at the same level of Ethereum's stability and security, and that's how we branded. And all the Web2 big enterprises thought, okay, if Ethereum is not going to die, Polygon is not going to die, at least we have the secure and we don't have risk of getting wrecked. which is something happened to the FTX or Solana or Luna, right? So we were very easy on that part. And based on that, we were able to focus on specific sectors like gaming. And we create another narrative. Gamers needed a chain where all the wallets are there, infrastructures are there. So games did not have to create own wallets or own NFT marketplaces. They could just focus on their own gaming product and ship them right away. And it was very successful narrative as well. So we onboarded many gaming partners as well. And we have been, and that was like 1 or 2 years ago, and even 6 months ago. But bull market started to come back, and we started to see the needs to change in our strategy. And now we are more focusing on the Web3 native startups as well. So that's why we are actually pushing forward the CDK as well, because we truly want to scale the Ethereum, and also for the Polygon, we want to scale. And each BD onboarding 1 or 2 big brands, that helps, but it's not scalable. So we are going to transition more to the technical company who are focusing on developing, L2 and ZK tech. And we developed this CDK so that our ecosystem partner can use that, and their ecosystem, they can scale. And so, for example, like we can share most of our gaming deals to game-specified CDK deployer, Immutable X, and we can have Japan-specific deals to A-Star, something like that, and RWA deals to Kanto Network or something. So we are focusing this narrative, and yeah, to again, back to your question, what was secret sauce? We do not have secret sauce, but we see what's happening in the world, and we move very quickly and agilely so that we can apply what is needed and what the world needs at the moment.
Round of applause to Sungmo, guys. Okay. I guess that's it for the first session. We'll jump right onto the second session, and I want to invite Pak Arief, Bro Arief, from Mythic Protocol. Round of applause to Arief, guys. And yeah, we'll continue on to the panel session. So.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, we're continuing with Sumo as well. So Sumo will join us online as well in this panel. But maybe to start us off, can you introduce yourself? Maybe you can actually use in Bahasa if you want. But
Hi, everyone. My name is Arief. It's really humbling and grateful to be here tonight. So I was coming from Mythic Protocol. So previously, before Mythic, I've built, co-founded Agate. It's the biggest game company in Indonesia. So I've been in the gaming industry for the past 15 years. And I think in the end of 2021, I decided to dive headfirst into the next, we believe that the next cycle of the gaming industry, which is like partly blockchain with AI kind of, it will impact the next cycle of the gaming industry. That's why we started Mythic Protocol. So currently we're building a game called Riftstorm. So basically it's a Diablo with guns games. It's not because of the Palworld or anything, but it's before Palworld, we already do Diablo with guns. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, first question from me is kind of what's your for both of you, that is, what's, I guess we can explore 2 different perspectives, right? Sungmo can probably explore from the protocol side, from the infrastructure side, and Arief can dive this into the gaming developer side. But what's kind of the thesis of Web3 gaming? Why does it work in your mind, and where is it going? Maybe Arief can start us off.
Maybe we kind of different. We don't really categorize as Web3 gaming, but we call it the 3rd cycle of gaming. So it might be long, so bear with me. So anybody knows like what is the first video game ever created? Like the first video games, very first. Anybody knows? Pac-Man, Tetris. So the first video game ever created is called Tennis for Two. So it's a game created by MIT student in 1958 on an oscilloscope. So it's a device to measure voltage, but because he was bored in the lab, so he made games, like to play with friends. But so that's the first video game because it's technically a game created on electronic device. But it never scaled to the mass. Why? Because obviously nobody have oscilloscope. So the first technology that actually create the game industry is actually semiconductor. So that actually allows like PC, arcade game, console game available at home. And at that time, the game industry created. Like it scaled from 0 to 40 billion in the 20 years kind of time. And it solved the first problem, how to make a fun game. So at a time, like there's a lot of like genre like coming up. So it's becoming the best practices of the game industry. And that we call it that the first cycle. The first cycle we know is actually US company, Europe company, and Japan company. So that's the first cycle, Nintendo, Activision. And then the second cycle is coming in. It's because, guess, mobile and internet. Okay, so mobile solve like everybody now have a devices to play games, and internet solve distribution. So before, like for me to buy to play a game, I need to buy the CD, install, so it takes some time. But internet solve that, and mobile allow everybody to play. So the next problem in the next cycle is adoption. How to scale gamers that at a time is like, I think 400 million to now it's like 3 billion. How to scale, like how to make everybody a gamers. And the interesting solution is that it's a safe business model. So it's a free-to-play business model. So before like games, it's actually like $60. You buy games and then play, but not everybody could pay like $60. When I was a kid, I cannot play. I buy the pirated version. But with free-to-play model, it's actually follow the wealth distribution model. So like people that rich could pay like 100K for one game. They could also pay 1K, but also play free. So I think that allows like scaling. And the game industry grow like 5x. And we believe the next cycle is coming in because it's already like 50 years from the first cycle. And the next cycle will be driven by two technology, AI and blockchain. So AI will solve capability gap. So before, like for example, if I want to create Tetris, I need to study computer science for like maybe a few years. And then for me to create Tetris, I need to code for 1 week. But now like maybe like five grader could create Tetris with prompting. Yeah, so imagine like the next few years, there will be so many gaming content because everybody now able to create game. Because the gap to create an art, to create 3D things is very low. Very low. So there will be like too many content. So that's one part that AI will solve, capability gap. So now imagine like everybody now will become an active participant in the ecosystem. So that's part one. And the second one is blockchain. So what is actually blockchain solve? So we believe that blockchain solve trust. Who have the trust issue? So we don't believe gamers have trust issue, but we believe creators have trust issue. But this is like, it's actually very long. But combined, the technology will actually present to us opportunity, and that's what we believe as the third cycle of gaming. It's not, I don't know whether we should label it Web3 game, but I think that's the next opportunity, Web3. So basically, it's opportunity created because too many content with AI, but also supported by the trust of blockchain provided. I think that's the next opportunity.
Wow, that's deep. I could probably dive into that. But Sungmo, go at it.
Wow, thank you for all the deep dive, the narrative and history of the gaming. And I'll focus more on the blockchain level. And I think I joined Polygon Labs about 1 year and 9 months ago. And it was really fascinating to see how many gaming developers are actually developing Web3 gaming. But it was just getting started. And, you know, when this Web3 game started, what we saw was XC Infinity and CryptoKitties, and those are literally not really a game. But I want to define blockchain gaming scene as still it's trying to find its own way to be whatever it can be. So, but the one thing that penetrates through from CryptoKitty to recent, I don't know, Shrapnel or recent or any kind of crypto gaming is a reward system. So there was always reward to the people who actually got involved with the gaming. So at the first time, we decided to give out rewards to the people who just play the game, and we named it Play to Earn. But we found out that could be some kind of Ponzi-nomics. So we decided to name it differently, play and earn. And still, it's not really enough. And then we are finding another narrative, and it just keep developing and itself. It's keep revolutionizing and evolving. At the same time, it's getting introduced to the people and players. But I think for the time being, at the moment, the hottest take that we can take is the reward will be get into the creator of the gaming ecosystem. What I mean is, I think users generated contents and user generated contents in the gaming will be the focus and the core for the success for the game. So where I'm coming from this is, there was a very, very big game company called Nexon in Korea, and they are developing their biggest IP called Maple Story into a Web3 game at the moment. And they're opening up all their IP. And they are doing that because they want to transition into IP company from gaming company. Now Nexon is a gaming company, but they want to become IP company just like Nintendo. So they want to open up their IP paradoxically to become the IP company. And then what they're going to do is they are going to let smaller gaming developing studios to utilize that IP and create Maple Story map and invite all the other users to use that specific map and create their own revenue from that specific map. So in this case, Maple Story can become a universe and a platform where all the other creators can come in and provide all the fun experiences and meaningful experience to the end users. And end users can sometimes earn from playing it, but sometimes they can lose money or they can just play for free. But at the same time, the creator of that specific content will get the revenue from that. And from that specific steps, I think that specific platform can be prospering because the reward can be given to the creator of the core contents. So to sum up, I think a very important thing about this blockchain gaming will be reward. And where this reward goes will be most important part that we need to be focused on.
Okay. Hello. Okay. Jumping on. Arief, I want to deep dive into what you just said. You've explained your thesis about how AI and blockchain is going to revolutionize gaming on this gaming 3.0. I've never heard that term before. I thought it was just Web3, but apparently there's game 3. So how are you implementing these two technologies into Mythic Protocol? How are you using, specifically, I guess, because this is a Web3 thing, how are you leveraging blockchain for Mythic? How are you positioning yourself in terms of, someone mentioned rewards? Is there any rewards, ownership? We know that a big thesis about Web3 gaming is about owning your virtual goods. How are you doing this with Mythic?
Okay. Maybe I'll share like two theses that we are doing at the moment, but it's still like hypothesis, so it might be not correct. So I think the first one, our thesis is that if the world will be revolutionized by AI and blockchain, what kind of entertainment there will be? So I think our thesis is, we call it collaborative entertainment. So imagine like entertainment space where everybody is becoming an active participant in value generation. So maybe I'll tell a sample. Like previously, he mentioned about IP. So we create the IP of Mythic Protocol. So the idea of Mythic Protocol is, imagine like we want to build what we call collaborative universe. So imagine like Star Wars, but everybody able to create their own spaceship. Everybody able to create their own planet, species, heroes, and even stories. So the use case of the blockchain is, we build a platform, we call it DUNB, D-U-N-B. So it's a decentralized universal meta on blockchain. So imagine like every universe event, it's actually registered on the persistent database. So that every time I create a monsters, every time I create, oh, this hero actually killed the monsters, it's recorded and everybody's transparent and everybody able to add up of that story. So it actually enables a platform for collaboration where everybody able to create their own story and expand on it. So that's one of the use case. But still, in building an IP has no value if there is no users. That's why we build the game first. On the game layers, we always ask the question of, this is the second use case, what is the benefit, what is the inherent benefit of the technology of NFT for blockchain in general for gamers? I think that's always our question. We do a lot of like market research. We learn a lot of like thesis. We did a lot of report. A lot of like industry consensus revolve around ownership, interoperability, composability. The big problem with this thesis for us is that when we test to gamers, are they care about ownership? They did actually, but they don't care about decentralized ownership. So for example, like if I'm a gamer, I own a Steam account, I think that I own it. Yeah, I don't care if it's a FOF or anything because I trust FOF. So blockchain solve trust. If there is no trust issue, blockchain don't solve anything. Bitcoin solve because there are some people that don't have trust with the centralized body. Yeah, but Steam, everybody trusts. So there's no trust issue. So there's nothing to solve there. The second one is interoperability. Interoperability is technically doesn't need blockchain to do that. Because even like Pokemon already did that since Game Boy. Like Game Boy, it's like old technology. They able to did that. Why blockchain? Composability also the same. So one of our tests as the only things that remain, and when we test it to the gamers, it's actually resound, it's provenance. So we call it a legacy. So the idea, like imagine you playing game MMORPG, like, and then you just come to the world and then have a very basic iron sword, and then oh, there's everybody actually trying to kill this black dragon, and then you join the raid, you get lucky, your last hit actually killed the dragon, so your iron sword gets splattered the blood of the black dragon, and it evolved, it becoming the black dragon iron sword, and this sword is the only sword that actually last hit the black dragon because this event is only 1 a year. But there's a record of legacy. There's like value, like maybe like lifesteal plus 10 or anything. But there's an emotional benefit that, oh, this is the sword that I use to kill that black dragon. Like even if someone wants to buy like 10,000, 100K, there's emotional value that actually I don't want to sell it because I want to show to my kid or my grandkid that, oh, this is the sword that I use that day. So imagine like, because gamers play games for the emotional value, not for the financial value. If it's for financial value, becoming work, it's not fun anymore. So I think that's one of the problem with the earning narrative, that we don't really see that as a sustainable future. Yeah, so we're very different here. So maybe it's totally wrong. So maybe like next 5 years and then say, oh, sorry, our test is totally wrong. Yeah.
I see. Wow, that's actually pretty cool. The black dragon sword, I kind of want it. Okay. Sungmo, lately there's been a lot of developments in terms of gaming infrastructure. I think you've partnered with Portal as well, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Where do you see currently across all the game developers? What's kind of the pain point of infrastructure currently, and what do you see is going to happen to solve that, and what will happen after we solve that?
So that's a very interesting question, and there are so many problems for the gaming developers because they used to just focus on the game developing, but when they jump into crypto scene, they realize that they need to care about wallets, NFT marketplaces, even RPC node. They don't even know what RPC nodes are. So that's where the foundation and mainnet comes in to become their partner for their success of the game. And the most common problem that they're facing is the user experience when they onboard them. So for example, like they are really looking and craving for AA wallet so that they can make user friction smaller. So big Web2 gaming companies like try and spend a lot of money just to make another click less compared to the another user flow. And that UX is really important. But this current blockchain technology doesn't really support that, because we need so many clicks to purchase specific item or make your item reinforced and something like that. So that kind of user friction is really a pain point for them. But we are seeing many infrastructure player in terms of game friction reducing a product. So that's a good sign for us. But the part where we are having a real problem is the user acquisition part. So this is not really because of it's our like technology problem or anything, but it's really different compared to the Web2 user acquisition and Web3 user acquisition. So they just do not know how to do it, and we do not even have an answer how to acquire user. So they are doing a lot of different airdrop tactics to acquire users, but there are so many cherry pickers, and they even try to do the traditional way of user acquisition utilizing Google or Facebook, but it's sometimes very expensive, and it's sometimes even illegal to do that. So they are forced to utilize crypto KOLs or many other influencers or guilds, but it's not performance-based. So for example, they used to spend their money based on the projected return. So they can count ROAS or ROI on how they spend, what they can get. But in terms of crypto industry, it's not really ready yet. So they are having a very hard and pain point for that specific part. So we need an answer for that too.
Arief, do you want to jump in with the gaming infrastructure stuff? I know you probably have scouted all the blockchains. I don't know if Mythic has announced who you're building with or whatever, but amongst your research, what's kind of been like, oh, that's good, you know? Oh, that's what we need. Or maybe there's stuff that you still need that you don't have right now. What's kind of the thing with game developers and trying to find the correct infrastructure with what you're trying to build?
Thank you. That's a great question. I think I will try to answer that by like how we think and value infrastructure rather than mentioning any infra.
Sure.
So usually like we always see like three parts. So the first one is actually the tech itself, like how the tech is actually help us. Like usually like some game that have a lot of like transaction will prefer like platform that are able to give like less gas or maybe like free gas, or even like if we want to do like more abstraction to the users, so the users will don't feel any Web3 at all. So they just think that it's digital asset. So I think tech part is one of the core. But if we see like the evolution of the past 2 years, now eventually like even more so, most of the platform tech side is already kind of on par. Like everybody's catching up on each other. So we think that it's almost kind of similar now in some of like what's the offering on the table on the tech side. The second one is on the business side. So this one is that's more popular like a few years ago. Like some platform give a good grants, like support, but usually everybody just looking at the grants. That's the obvious truth. So the grant is something that we always consider. And the third one is actually users base. So this one is not so many platforms that are actually able to do that, because in the end of the day, the platform itself usually want an exclusive relationship with the games. So for the game itself, like if they're thinking about their sustainability, not only the grant, they will always think like how big is the user base of that infrastructure. And there's only a few that are able to give user base. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like active gamers user base.
I think one interesting component that you probably, I don't know if you mentioned it or not, but or I missed it or not, but the UX of having a seed phrase with wallets and stuff, that's probably a big thing, right?
Yes.
So what's your consideration with that? Are you trying to make it as seamless as possible in terms of, you mentioned abstraction, but yeah.
Abstraction.
Yeah, is that the route you're going?
So we make the Web3 invisible in
Yeah.
the user's eyes. So I think that's the
Okay,
the
cool.
Yes.
Okay, exciting. That's very exciting.
Yeah, because our game will be available on Steam, PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, mobile. So we need that part to be invincible.
I see.
Yeah.
Are you interested at all in well, I don't know if you've mentioned this before, but how are you doing? Are you interested in making your game or IP decentralized in terms of governance? Are you interested in making your gaming goods, either that's tokens or NFTs, kind of a commodity like marketplace stuff, or are you purely trying to build a good game and then just a few parts of Web3?
Yeah, actually, one of the main reason why me personally actually jump into Web3 headfirst is because of the ethos. Like building something together, share the upside, share the ownership, enables everybody to actually contribute. I think that is the biggest drive for me. So definitely the first one, the number one question is yes, I definitely interest to see how like we could build like governance that decentralized. It just that at this point we still don't know how. Like the previous DAO model is definitely unsustainable. So we still like don't know how. We have the intention, but we still don't know how. The second one, in some of the asset, I think that's also something that is even like before Web3, when we do like play MMORPG, I play Ragnarok Online that time. I used to sell my armor, my card, like, but that one is actually very bad UX. But I think like with Web3, security will be checked. Like there's no issue with security. So I think that part is definitely what we also explore. It's just like the current I think you realize that the term of Web3, the term NFT for most gamers have a very bad reputation at this point. Yeah. So we just hide that. And they just get the benefit. They don't need to know what is the technology. I think that's what is our approach. And the last one, yes, that we definitely want to build a good games.
Will they naturally be able to earn or have gains by playing in Mythic Protocol?
So
is it something you care about?
So I think if they're playing, we expect they give money to the ecosystem because they get entertainment value out of it. But if they are contributing value, for example, like, oh, I'm playing, but I refer to my friend to play. So I'm contributing value to, because our game is a multiplayer game, so more people playing in is more value entertaining. So it's a value to the ecosystem, so I could get something out of it. Or if, for example, like I'm an influencer and then I spread the word about the games, I could get something out of it. So I think we reward contribution, but we don't reward time spent. Unless there is a value of the time spent because of, but it's a more economic equation. But at this point, we don't think time spent is something that should be rewarded. But if players get a good time spent on the game, they should be the one that actually spending into the ecosystem. That is where the more sustainable revenue model.
So at the end of the day, a gaming project that still needs to be profitable to be a good game, right? Okay, awesome. I guess last question for you, both of you. And I'm interested to hear what Sungmo. I think Sungmo probably has a whole bunch of meetings with a whole bunch of game developers, and he probably has the alpha of some good stuff coming up. Sungmo, what do you think about the Web3 gaming space? How is it going to grow in the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years? I don't know what time frame you have in mind in terms of growth here. Are you bullish on it? Are you seeing a lot of good games? Do you see the TVL or the market cap of gaming stuff growing? And yeah, I guess the core question is, how do you see it in a certain time frame? Give me a time frame on what you see happening.
So I hope something comes up in 3 years. So in 3 years, I hope a game which revolutionizes the perception and conception of Web3 gaming will come out, so that everyone knows about specific game, and that is based on crypto. So we are seeing a lot of very good gamings, AAA studio gaming, and very fun to play gaming actually being onboarded and being developed and even being launched on crypto at this moment. And this is a very good sign. And even for Web2, there are so many game projects launching, but not every game project succeed. And we need at least 100 shots to have a very successful one game, right? So I think for gaming, crypto gaming as well, we are giving a lot of shots and tries. So I think there will be a very good gaming coming up at least within 3 years. And if that happens, I believe perception towards the crypto gaming will change. And that specific game will create special genre of game so that people can think of it as a new sector for the gaming. So for example, like one game create a roguelike gaming sector, and that's a new genre of game. And currently people know there is some P2E and like crypto-based games, but it's not specifically a genre for the normies, the Web2 people. But I think there will definitely come to a time where people actually take crypto as a genre of a game. So I think that will come within 3 years. And I personally believe that will come from existing very, very big Web2 developing studios, but who knows, it will come from the very early stage startups from the very, new gaming studio. But I think there's a larger chance for that, and that will come from utilizing existing very famous IP. And yeah, within 3 years, I hope that comes.
Before we go to Arief, can you shout out a couple games that you're excited about in the Polygon ecosystem?
So at this moment, I would have to say Nexon's MapleStory universe. And I grew up on playing MapleStory, and I spent at least 2 hours going to PC rooms in Korea, playing and talking about my MapleStory characters and growing them. And that's basically my childhood story. So I was so happy to onboard them on Polygon. So, I mean, I can't wait I forward them to launch their game. Yeah.
Wow. We Indonesia, have anybody heard of MapleStory before? Oh, you have. Oh, never mind. I thought Indonesians don't really know about them. But anyway, Arief, can you answer the question about the time frame and what you're seeing?
I agree with Sondo. And just very quick for me, and hopefully us is one of the game that reached that milestone that Sunmo mentioned. I think that's for me.
3 years at the time.
Yes, 3 years will be a very good time. I think this year will be very exciting for us, and next year definitely like a key moment for us. Yeah, so 3 years will be a very good time.
Wow. Awesome. Round of applause to both of our speakers, guys.
Thank you.
And I just want to open up the floor for a question and answer. Yes, boleh bantuan? Mic. Is that Matthew?
Hi, yeah. So I have some questions related to like what do you guys think about like fully on-chain games and like autonomous worlds? I think that's huge things currently.
Sungmo, you want to answer that or first, and then Arief maybe?
Yeah, I could answer that.
Sure.
Okay. For me individually, it's definitely very interesting. For me as a gamer, it's also interesting. As a business, I'm not sure. So one of my friends is actually he's Indonesian. He's one of the developer of Dark Forest. Actually create a new startup. Yeah, he's Indonesian based in San Francisco. Actually create a new startup that fully on-chain game. So I think he's doing interesting things. I'm not really following him. So I'm following the startup as much. I met him last Token 249. So I think that's definitely interesting. It's one of the use cases where blockchain flourishes, but it's still like too many technical limitations on to really like scale that use case. And in the end of the day, like a lot of gaming says that if you're familiar with what happened when mobile phone coming up, the top game at that time is Angry Bird and Cut the Rope. At that time, like the problem is everybody just too much focused on what is the technology form factors. Oh, this is a touch phone. This is, we need to play game with touch. Everybody forgot that, in the end of the day, it's just a computer at pocket of everyone. Since, because in the first 2 to 3 years of the mobile gaming, everybody just to focus, what kind of touch interaction is the best? And that extends to the 5, 7 years. But the top game is never about touch interaction. like Clash of Clans. It's about like how it's connect others people. So in the end of the day, like first principle thinking is still the best way to go if you're building business, not what the technology is capable into. I think that's just the hint for what I think should be how we approach building startups. Hope that answer. I'm not really able to comment on trend, but I think that's how I see it.
Sungmo, you want to comment on this?
I have a connection issue about the so can you repeat the question?
Oh, so the question is about what do you think about fully on-chain games and autonomous worlds?
Oh, I don't think fully on-chain game is necessary at the moment. This may sound very adamant, but currently there is quite a technical limitation which this can be realized in real life, because yes, we can make fully on-chain gaming, but there is a very high chance and highest probability that that will harm user experience, and that will lead to stop making users to play the game. So I think in terms of like philosophy, I think there is some kind of meaningful way of building those on-chain gaming, but like in terms of building a fun and playable game, I do not think there needs to be a fully on-chain game.
Awesome. Any other questions? Greenman Ron.
Okay. Hello, I'm Ron from Block.FID. So my question is more likely like, what is the Polygon narrative about creating the mass adoption, especially in Indonesia? Like, what you guys looking for from us? Is it a builders, a users, or any kind of project? And then how you gonna maintain about that you say before, you bringing the Web2 and enterprise into Web3, and what is the next 3, 4, 5 years narrative that you are trying to build to get the mass adoption about the blockchain things?
Oh, that is a very, very good question. And the reason that I joined this call is because we are trying to open up a new market for the Indonesia very hard. So what we are trying to do is we want to partner up with the very famous local, per se, flagship partner, which everyone knows. So based on that partnership, we will be able to create another narrative that Polygon and very famous enterprise from Indonesia are partnering up together. And based on that partnership, we will be able to create some kind of startup ecosystem together. And that way, we will be able to onboard many other long-tail Web3 startups from Indonesia. And with those infrastructures ready for the all the retails, let's say, the end users, we are ready to go to the B2C marketing as well, so that more and more Indonesian users can actually use Indonesia-based dApps. So I'm here again pushing for CDK. So I really hope there is an Indonesia-specific CDK chain developer who can focus on Indonesia and domestic business things. So I am looking for those kind of partnership as well. So we will be able to work together on local business strategy as well.
Wow, that actually sounds awesome. Do you actually have it lined up, or are you still looking?
We have some list, but we are still open to discussion.
Okay, cool. I want in. I'm just kidding. Any other questions, guys? Going once, going twice. All right, awesome. Can you give a round of applause, last round of applause to Sungmo and Arief? I think this has been a very insightful session. Thank you. All right. I guess to close off the sessions, I still have 2 shirts. So I want to open up the floor to Web3 builders or whoever you are, Web3 developers. I can give a shirt to anybody who can, I guess, one option is to introduce your project and what your vision for your project is for either the Web3 ecosystem or what you're trying to solve what your problem you're trying to solve, or what net gain are you trying to do with your project, or for anybody, you can tell us about your vision for Web3, what you want to happen either in Indonesia or as an industry. So I just want to open up the floor to any builders here who want to introduce your project, what you're trying to do, or anybody here who has a vision for Indonesia or Web3. Anybody want to give it a go? 2 shirts available. A good moment to kind of introduce yourself. Hey, Matt. Yeah, there you go. Aramika.
Okay, so I'm a builder. So what I'm building is basically I'm building a fully on-chain game on like in Starknet, currently not in Polygon, sorry. So basically this game has AI agent on-chain. So we're building a very old game called Drug Wars. So basically it's like you buy and sell drugs and you just travel around basically. So we're working with one of the projects called Dope Wars. So basically this game itself is a fully on-chain game that is so smooth because we use like native account abstraction as well. And I think, yeah, I think will be the very first game having AI agent on-chain, which is basically using zkEVM as well. So yeah, I guess that's my project.
Why are you building this? What's your thesis behind it?
Yeah, so because like there's a lot of upcoming autonomous world people like working on that as well. So my vision on this project is because like having AI agents on autonomous world is like a pretty cool concept. And I think as well, like not a lot of people are like looking into fully on-chain games as well, because the reason why is, first of all, people will think it's like very gas cost, but like it depends on like the gas fees. Like for example, like Starknet, we have this game tool called Dojo, and I think they're very pretty well built. And this Dojo basically have all the tools needed to build this fully on-chain game. And by bringing this, it's more like an arcade game basically. So it's not like a long-term kind of game like where you build stories and like keep on going like RPG games. It's more like an arcade game. And the reason why it's so smooth is because they have the burner wallets, and these burner wallets is like allow people to just play the game fully on chain without like having to create a wallet, and like everything is very smooth basically. So we're trying to push more on that as well in the space. Yeah.
Wow, awesome. One more. Anybody want to introduce yourself and your project, what you're building, what you have in mind with what's going on in Web3? One more. Anybody? There you go. Bahasa Indo juga boleh kak. Kalau
Okay,
mau.
thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Reza. I'm the co-founder of eastblue.io. It's a new product actually. We developed this product. It's actually a Paras. If you know Paras NFT marketplace on NEAR. Our team currently building what we call the layer 2 of the Bitcoin. So if you have how to say like this is the SDK for someone who wants to build a blockchain application. So it's going to be easy for you if you develop a Web2 project or you have a kind of business and you want to go to the Web3. So you can use SDK. It's a very easy, seamless. And then the thing is, we also have a good user experience for this SDK. So you just need to log in, and then we can generate a wallet for you just using the email. The very use case for this is SDK. There is a project called Akan. Actually, we also built it. It's currently the top 6 decentralized app in the world. You can check it in the Dev Radar. It's called Akan in the social depths. So yeah. So anyone currently building and then want to know about our SDK, please. It's a our co-founder is an Indonesian team, so our office is in Jakarta also. So if you have interest in the building this kind of SDK, so let us know. Thank you, everyone.
What's the name again?
East Blue.
East
Eastblue.io. Yeah.
East Blue.
Yeah. If you're familiar with the One Piece.
Oh, okay, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, I guess that wraps up our event. Thank you guys so much for coming. I hope this was a valuable time for you. I hope you learned something about the industry, about gaming, about zkEVM. And yeah, just wait on the next episode. We're gonna have something exciting for you again, as usual. So round of applause to everybody, and see you next time. Happy birthday, or no?